There is a strange kind of silence that surrounds the world of ultra-luxury, the kind of silence money cannot buy your way out of. It is the silence inside the workshops of Rolls-Royce, where engineers, designers, and craftspeople shape vehicles that are less like cars and more like moving sculptures. But behind the soft leather, polished wood, and quiet engines lies a truth most people never hear: the untold cost of commissioning a one-of-a-kind Rolls-Royce. And nothing reveals this hidden world better than the story behind the Sweptail, the car that rewrote what luxury means and what it demands from the person who dares to ask for it. The Sweptail was not simply ordered, it was imagined. It began with a single client who walked into Rolls-Royce and asked for something outrageous, something that had never been done before, a completely bespoke car built from the ground up, tailored only for him, shaped around his tastes, his history, and even his fantasies. This wasn't customization. This was creation. And when Rolls-Royce agreed, they also understood that they weren't just building a car, they were entering a multi-year relationship with a client whose expectations had no ceiling. That is the real beginning of the cost, long before a single wheel touched a single road. For the next 4 years, dozens of people worked on a machine meant for one person. Designers sketched and reshaped the car again and again, searching for a silhouette that felt both classic and futuristic. Engineers debated what was possible and what was simply madness. Craftsmen sculpted materials with the kind of patience usually reserved for fine art. Every piece of wood was matched by grain, every strip of metal was polished until it caught the light perfectly, and every interior detail was shaped by hand, not machines. And while the official price of the Sweptail was reported to be over $10 million, the real cost, measured in time, labor, and the emotional weight of perfection, was something far greater. What most people don't see is the psychological toll this kind of project takes. For Rolls-Royce, the fear of disappointing a client at this level is enormous. One wrong stitch could mean weeks of redoing work. One misalignment could undo an entire section of the car. And for the client, the more the car evolved, the more attached he became to the fantasy of what it would eventually be. That fantasy is powerful, but it is also dangerous. Because when you commission something no one else has ever owned, you are not just paying for exclusivity, you are paying for expectation, pressure, and the heavy need for everything to be flawless. And then there is the part no invoice will ever show: isolation. People imagine that owning a $10 million car means living a life of freedom, but the truth is stranger. A one-of-a-kind Rolls-Royce cannot be driven just anywhere. It cannot be parked on a normal street. It cannot be left unguarded for even a minute. Every outing becomes a carefully planned operation. Every drive becomes a spectacle, whether the owner wants it or not. Privacy fades. Fear grows. What if someone scratches it? What if something breaks? What if a photographer captures it before the owner is ready? The car becomes both a crown and a cage. The Sweptail represents something even deeper: the weight of personal obsession. The owner didn't commission it because he needed a car. He commissioned it because he needed an idea made real, a dream turned into metal and glass. But dreams are slippery things, and when they finally come to life, they rarely feel the way they did inside the mind. Many people who commission ultra-exclusive items discover this too late. The more money they spend, the more they expect the final product to change the way they feel inside. But no car, no matter how exquisite, can fix loneliness, anxiety, or the quiet hunger for meaning. Rolls-Royce understands this better than anyone. Behind the polite smiles, they have seen it all: clients who become obsessed, clients who demand the impossible, clients who spend fortunes chasing a feeling they cannot quite describe. The company's job is to deliver the car, but the emotional cost, the restlessness, the obsession, the fear, belongs entirely to the person who asked for it. And when the Sweptail was finally delivered, even though it was a masterpiece, the owner had already paid far more than money. He paid in anticipation, in stress, in the silent pressure of knowing that the entire project depended on his vision being perfect. This is the part of luxury people rarely talk about. The more unique something is, the more it demands from you. A normal person buys a car. A wealthy person buys a story. But the ultra-rich, people who commission cars like the Sweptail, they buy a piece of themselves they hope will make their world feel complete. And sometimes it does. But often it only reveals a truth they had no intention of facing: that even the most beautiful machine ever built cannot fill the empty spaces of a human life. When the Sweptail drove out of the factory for the first time, it was more than a car. It was a symbol of ambition, creativity, and unmatched craftsmanship. But it was also a symbol of the cost behind owning something no one else ever will. A cost paid not just in money, but in patience, pressure, and the unspoken loneliness of exclusivity. The world saw a $10 million masterpiece. Only the people involved understood the hidden story behind it. This is the untold cost of commissioning a one-of-a-kind Rolls-Royce. The weight of expectation, the fear of imperfection, the burden of uniqueness, and the realization that true luxury is not just what you own, it is what you sacrifice to have it.